Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, the honorable to the judges or to all the educators, and don't forget to all the debaters. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Ariansyah and I'm here proudly to represent SMA Negeri 1 Kabupaten Tangerang. So, I stand here as the first speaker of opposition teams. So today's motion we have: this House believes that climate policy must prioritize climate mitigation over a narrow focus on emissions reduction. Well, as the first speaker of opposition teams, I truly disagree with this motion. While mitigation is very important, we believe that a narrow and urgent focus on emissions reductions must remain the central priority in climate policy. Mitigation without tackling the root of cause emissions is like trying to move the floor while the tap is still running. It's very impossible, right? Well, I want to let me begin my clarify. The first is climate mitigation. Climate mitigation refers to adapting to or minimizing the damage of climate change, like building seawalls or drought resistance crops, or even building a green spaces. And the two is emissions reductions. Targets the cost of climate change by reducing greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. This case, it's about cost. It's very high, but instead of we concern to cost that very high to reducing these emissions, we have solution that we can adapting our activity to reduce these emissions, while the government to build need to support this one, like such as to building green spaces and to replace regular transportation to eco transportation. For the example, in Sweden, the government building the transformation system within sustainable energy, like a train powered by hydrogen. And like in Japan, we can push our citizens to reduce emissions by increasing the tax of cars. So our society can change their activities to reduce emissions, like walking or cycling. Well, I will argue that a focus on emissions reduction is more urgent, effective, and globally impactful. The first is emissions are the root cause, because a climate crisis is driven by rising emissions. This is not debatable. According to IPCC, the only way to stop long-term global warming is to achieve net zero carbon dioxide emissions. Well, mitigation is prioritizing mitigations without addressing emissions, like preparing for disaster instead of preventing it. And two is emissions reducing. While mitigations help certain regions, cutting emissions benefits to entire planet by focusing on clean energy, green infrastructure, and sustainable transport. We create the jobs, modernize industries, and improve air quality. Well, I don't deny that mitigation is very important, but it cannot take priority over cutting emission, because our world now, our problems in our world today is climate change. So reducing emissions is our top priority in our globally, in our purpose and our goal to create a more sustainable future, create more sustainable world in the future for our next generations. And yeah, climate actions is one of the points in SDGs. So I support the SDGs, and I support that reduce the emissions is very important to us. Thank you.